108 minerals, basic and trace, plus the gases, makes a healthy, functional body.
Different.
And your body is referred to by the ancient writers as a nine-gate city. Let's see if you can find the 9 gates of your body.
The 9 gates?
Yeah.
The mouth,
ears, eyes, nose.
Count them, because you guys are involved in a lot of crystal work, and you got lots of artwork with crystals, but you never know where these things are coming from. So how many eyes you have?
2.
How many nostrils?
2.
That's 4, right? And 2 ears?
6.
And a mouth?
7.
And the 2 lower extremities? 9.
9.
Now where is the 10th gate? No. Right with
The third eye.
third eye. Okay, now listen carefully. Are you ever familiar with this statement? He who doesn't come through by the door or the gate is a thief. Which gate is he talking about?
The third eye.
You bet. Now, if you pop chemistry in your mouth to activate your brain to be able to see through the processes of matter and call that enlightenment, you're stealing from your own chemistry and your own energy process.
You mean if they're taking some type of drug?
Yeah,
Okay.
under the rug. See, the rug, you know, dirt from under the rug. That's why we call it the rug. But if you go inwards and use the technique he gave us years ago, when the eyes, he didn't say when the eye, he says when the eyes, that's plural, right? Are single, you can't make it single unless you close them, right? This whole body, this cellular structure is full of what? Light. Interesting. Now, the light is shining in the darkness of what? Tissues?
Your whole body.
Good. Keep talking now. But the darkness comprehends it not. This brain of yours, so intellectual, don't understand what the heck you got inside of your tissues. And it can't comprehend it because it never got exposed to it before. Somebody hit you in the head and you saw the darkness or you saw the light. Well, it's a light. But it hurts here, sir. Yeah, no, well, that's how the way you learn. In the martial art, that's how they teach you. Or in the Zen Buddhism, hit you on your head and you see the light. You know? And they draw cartoons with somebody who had seen the light. That idea is the same thing, correct. And the darkness comprehends. But let your light so shine before men that they may see the good works and glorify the Father in you, not outside. Meaning, the length of time you spend to look inside your cellular structure to identify with the elements that form you, the cellular structure radiates and lives without eating. Physics, religion, philosophy, but smacks. We're thrown into it. Now, almond, the Persian people recognize, is the only food that grows on a tree that contains all 12 basic minerals right off the bat. And so your hydrochloric acid requires it as a monitoring principle for all other foods to go in. So when you put in almonds first in your mouth in the morning and you ingest it through the saliva, and then you go down into the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, it sets up what is called a monitoring principle, like that little device there down by the airport. And everything that passes through there will get what? Credibility if they're on time. If anything goes through there out of time, what are they going to do? Back him up, foment him, and leave you in a state of what?
Constipation.
Congratulations. You know the result. I see many of us been on the road. Eh? Okay, but that's really what happens. You get constipated. And we never know why we get constipated. But the food taken from the trees now will automatically act as fiber. Because why? They're all fiber in the first place. They don't have any tissue. And what is the biggest cry today among nutrition? That we are not eating enough what?
Fiber,
And we are suffering from what?
constipation,
Yeah.
colon problems.
Good. Now here you have, by nature's own natural laws, without doing a single thing, to synchronize your body back to the clock, or how it grows, to match the anatomy, you have the fruit on the trees in the morning, the nuts. Now we come to the oil. Our biggest anguish in this society, you shouldn't eat any oil because you're going to get what?
Fat and cholesterol.
And you, would you believe it? It's not valid.
It's not?
I've eaten so much oil, it'll freak out anybody. Because if you take this oil and you will find there are only two sources for oil, from a fiber and from a tissue, right? Good. Tissue oil, you refer to it as what? Lard. And butter comes from what? Trees or from tissue?
From tissue.
Good. Now listen carefully. And if you take butter and you heat it on the stove, you'll notice it divides up into two colors and two thicknesses. Eastern men been doing it for centuries. They used to call it ghee, otherwise known as clarified butter today. And the two colors that were found inside of the substance are referred to today as cholesterol. And the cholesterol only has two functions based on their colors. The white cholesterol will make you gain weight because it insulates, settles on the walls of your arteries, and it will fill up your cells, and you will have what? Cellulite? Good. The yellow cholesterol will not insulate, they will lubricate. So if you live up north and you want to protect yourself against the snow, which of the two type of oils will you use?
White.
Great. And you live down south, which one would you use?
The yellow or the gold.
Now then you see oil as a food would be incorrect to say it is bad for you. You have to decide now. Remember I said the temperature and the location would determine what happens to go in. So if I'm living down south, I'm not going to eat the white cholesterol, which is like the butter. I would clarify it and eliminate the white. But because I have oil available to me now from a tree that doesn't have the white cholesterol, it has what? Take your nut oil, put it in your refrigerator. What will happen to it?
It turns
Solid, right?
solid, yeah.
All right, heat it up back and see if you can find any white cholesterol floating in it.
Yeah.
Now you understand what they call a polyunsaturated
Yeah,
oil?
that's what I was going to say.
That's the label they give it because it will not do what? Coagulate to form a white cholesterol, but it will coagulate to become hard because the heat has been taken away for preservation, right? But the moment the heat is restored for functional use, it comes back what? As a lubricant. So you see right away what you're eating now is preset by nature that you want to lubricate your muscles when? In the morning? Good. Now, you ever heard this statement? Early to bed, early to rise, make you healthy, wealthy, and stupid? No? They make you healthy, wealthy, and lazy? What it makes you?
Why is it
Good.
there?
So the lubricant function of the lipid oil placed in your body in the morning speeds up your vitality and flexibility. Thank you. Let's go eat some lunch. Okay, let's get back here. We know that the protein, the carbohydrate, the mineral, the vitamin, and the oil, and the water goes in. And at breakfast time, there is no choice. It's strictly fiber. And you set the actual digestive control of your mechanism by putting in fiber in the morning. So when you pre-soak the almond, and it's in a raw state, is the best way to use it, and you're getting all the minerals to go into the body, plus you're getting its protein, and it has nitrogen when you pre-soak it. Middle of the day, you have a choice between fiber and tissue. Now, fiber is essentially what your body was designed to eat. But tissue came in as a spare tire. And simply because every human being on this planet isn't the same blood type. If we were the same blood type, it would be different. But we're not. And we know that's a fact, that there are 4 blood types, and they are RH factors of plus and minus to represent the blood types. So that becomes very important, and if you don't realize that your blood type plays a very important part in your health, you would learn it pretty fast when you go out and drive your car. You take your Chevrolet car to a Ford and see what you'll do. You'll send you back to a Chevrolet to fix it, right? Because you don't have the parts. But a Ford car to a Ford dealer, they have the parts. And that's exactly what you have in here. If you don't know your blood type, I wouldn't suggest that you monkey around with different lifestyle eating. But when you know your blood type, then you can regulate it better. There are only 4 types and 4 RH factors that makes it 8, all told. Now, how come we began to eat tissue when the first man and woman came on the planet? And you remember, they didn't come through the womb. They were materialized directly by what? Creative consciousness materialized them in the carbon-based body directly, 16 years of age, turned them loose, and they're in their birthday suit, you know. They don't have no pockets. And this is how they walk around eating. But they're walking, they don't turn them back, no way. They're just going like this. All right. One day, they saw some kind of a white coconut powder falling from the sky. And they saw the birds flying away in the opposite direction away from them. Then they saw animals running towards the same direction that the birds are flying. But then the place is getting cold and windy, and the leaves are falling off the trees, and there's nothing to reach up and pick. So you can imagine what each one said to the other. What's that? And the other said, I don't know. Then the only way you can find out is, right? And as soon as they picked up whatever it represented and put it to their mouth, this was the comment. That's what it is, snow. Origin of the word, snow. A big sneeze. You ever play around as a kid and put snow in your mouth and see what happened? You snow it out, right? Well, a man came along to label it that way. It may sound comical, but his body is freezing now. He can't help it, his feet especially. And he's seeing animals are floundering in the snow, and they're dying from lack of oxygen. But the human being is not a creature that will allow himself to die unnecessarily. So it knows it must survive in some strange way longer than the animal, and longer than the bird, and longer than the trees. So something inside of it drives it to want to eat. And what is it going to eat? There is no fruit there now. What is available? Half-dying what? So that was the birth of the first ritual. I'm sorry, fella, but in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I gotta eat you. But he ate him how? Raw or cooked?
Raw.
Good, right. Because there was no way to him to know the fire, right. And as he evolved through that process, the weather was his first main change to go. And when the springtime came back and the fruits were up there, he went through the fertility rites and all kind of things to clean up his body, so they call it spring cleaning. He cleaned himself, he burned all kind of stuff to empty out his tummy from what? Eating what? Tissue or fiber?
Tissue.
Good. But then he's a type of individual who doesn't like to keep chasing after animals and birds, so he wants to do what? Control them, right? So he's going to snare them, hang them, control them in cages, and hatch them out and grow them, so he ends up becoming a farmer. From a hunter to farmer to where he's mechanical now. But that's all right, because it's placing him in the responsibility of decision-making as far as his health is concerned. In the middle of the day, he has the option between tissue and fiber for his protein intake. But by his mistakes, he has learned that tissue doesn't contain nitrogen when you cook it. Fiber contains nitrogen, but not when you cook it either. But tissue has uric acid and adrenaline to get rid of. Fiber doesn't have. Now, he doesn't know that until he makes enough mistakes, and his blood type will bring him to the recognition. Which blood type needs the tissue and which blood type don't need the tissue. Then nighttime, he's put in the same predicament. He has the marine life and the egg and the vegetable. And again, we find that he can't get around protein, carbohydrate, mineral, oil, water, 3 meals a day, but he has choice of option middle of the day and at night, but no choice of option in the morning. Good.
Are you saying that middle of the day you can eat tissue
Yes.
along with the carbohydrate?
Yes.
Okay.
If I want to eat a piece of beef with vegetables, I'll eat in the middle of the day. That grows above the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll eat my salad. It's carbohydrate.
Right.
Grows above the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It has nitrogen.
Right.
I eat my piece of meat. It has adrenaline and a uric acid.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm eating my salad containing the carbohydrate and containing the nitrogen, I'm phasing out the reaction of the toxicity of the adrenaline and the uric acid in my bloodstream.
Because you cook the meat.
Good, exactly. Now,
Then you can have an apple or whatever for dessert if you want to.
an apple?
Apple. Or do you eat ice cream and cake during that time?
That's a good range of color.
You're allowed to eat 3 meals a day or 6 meals a day within the time frame. Now, if I eat my beef and my salad and my bread between 12 and 3 o'clock, I'll eat my strawberries and my ice cream between 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And have my cup of coffee. So did I deprive myself with a little ice cream on top of it or a nice strawberry pie?
Okay.
And if I want to accentuate the positive, I can stick a piece of cheese and go melt it. So what am I doing now? Am I eating the way things grow and not denying myself anything?
Right.
Good, exactly. But I didn't put that piece of cheese and that piece of meat together.
No.
I didn't put that pastry with my salad together.
No.
But I ate them yet in the same time frame.
But you ate them at different hours.
Good, okay. Now that gives you what?
The right to eat whatever you want as long as you eat it in the right time.
Correct. Now you understand what you're doing. So if somebody says, Adano, would you let's go for eat pie? I says, yeah, after 3 o'clock. And I do that. So people come to my clinic when we have lunch between midday to 3 o'clock. And after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, we go out and have pie and the French pastry. And so they look at me kind of puzzled, but you're supposed to eat that. I said, why? that's the time to eat it. If it wasn't the time to eat it, I wouldn't do it. It's not what I'm eating that's going to make me sick. It's when I eat it's going to make me sick. So I go out and eat the cake, and they join me, and they say, this is odd. I don't feel sick. I don't feel... I say, well, you see, it's not what you were eating. It's when you put it in. I said, when did you put in your last time you had a pie? Oh, night before the last with ice cream. I said, good. What happened next morning? I had a lousy bellyache. Good. Congratulations. Now you know wrong time will give you what? Bellyaches.
Is that the only side effect you would have, or would like a headache also be a...
The headaches will be there, the bellyaches will be there, but most and all, you'll feel very sleepy after you finish eat food at the wrong time. You noticed yesterday you ate food here. Were you sleepy after you ate?
Can't remember now.
You didn't feel sleepy? Not to me. I observe everybody listening to me talk. Everybody was wide alert. And that's the evidence. If you're falling asleep after you eat, is that you're eating the food out of the wrong time frame. Food is supposed to give you energy to do what? Function, not energy to make you fall asleep. So that you know for sure the carbon dioxide is not going out if you eat it at the wrong time. If you did it at the right time, the carbon dioxide has to go out and your body will function. Okay, let's take, we know that the 3 time frames are morning, noon, and night. And we know that we have to eat these 5 foods all the time to be rational. What we're going to cover now is, am I allowed to eat these foods taken from any one of these light frames at the wrong time? Yes or no?
You said no. You should eat the foods within the time.
There are certain ones, though, you can eat any time, aren't
Yes, no, maybe.
there? Depends on your blood type.
Am I allowed to shift it around? And now we're not going to break any rules of nature. We're going to obey the rules of nature. Now we're not taking guesses at nature. We must have valid facts to permit us to do it. And therefore it is valid when we apply it. Now this is valid. A fruit and a nut in the morning, an optional choice in the middle of the day between tissue and fiber, an optional choice of night between tissue and fiber. But we are not crossing light zones, right? Now, my question is, do we have an option where we can cross light zones and eat the same stuff without getting sick? Nature must provide that, otherwise it wouldn't be a valid science.
Well, speaking for myself,
Good.
I've been eating whatever I want to when I want to, and I didn't notice any reactions, so I don't know what to say here, except it hasn't affected me to my knowledge.
But you're doing it without understanding the laws behind it, and therefore, if it lets you down, you're going to go in panic state. But when you understand the laws behind it, and you do it, then that's a big difference.
Right.
Good. Anybody got any suggestion before I show it to you? Yeah, okay. Hmm?
Get in an airplane and fly somewhere.
That's a neat trick. That is a neat one. Well, let me show you. We live on a planet, yes or no?
Yes.
Good. We go around the sun, yes or no? Yes. Good. There's a little ball of light that goes around us between the earth and the sun. What do you call that?
The moon.
A moon.
Full moon, you can eat anything you want.
Oh, look at that face! Why?
I don't know why.
Oh, well, if you want the result of a novum, how are you going to be here? Well, hear that statement? So, who put you together? Are you the result of 2 sperms or 2 ovums? Or are you the result of what? A sperm and an ovum. Now listen carefully, you got to have facts to work with, you can't guess it. Every new moon, the sperm is thrown out and the ovum is thrown out, right or wrong? New moon? Every new moon, the sperm is thrown out and the ovum is thrown out, right or wrong?
That would be true.
Just the ovum.
Yeah, I'm not the ovum. Yeah, but if the ovum comes, it wants to meet with the sperm, so I'll start calling.
Every new moon?
I think so, because she'd menstruate during the full moon.
Oh, and if you menstruate during the full moon and you aren't used up by the sperm, what do you do with the ovum? I said, is it thrown out? So when is it thrown out, the new moon or the full moon? Good. Now listen to the facts what you're saying, because that's what you're working with. You're working with laws, you're not working with imagination. The ovum is thrown out at every full moon when it is not interacting with the sperm, right?
Oh, well, you'd have to say thrown out from where?
All right.
Thrown out from the
From where now?
uterus or thrown out from the little follicles?
Either way, follicles or uterus is thrown out because it's not used after 28 days, right?
Yes.
Good. Now listen carefully because it can blow your mind away now. Can you use an ovum twice?
No.
Then every human being that is in this room is a virgin birth.
Is a virgin birth. What did you say?
Every human being in this room is of virgin birth. Now if you can use that ovum twice, you had to use the ovum.
You can't.
So then what is virgin birth now? Using the ovum when? Once. Now you understand what the science is talking about versus what people made up. There's nobody in this room that is not a virgin birth. Everyone here is a winner and everyone here is a virgin birth. You cannot use the ovum twice. So no matter how much the lifestyle of the parent might be, the end product of the mechanism is what? Virgin birth. You never realize that, huh? That now wipes out all your nebulous negativeness about what you are. And then you begin to see for the first time what you are is more valid than who you are. Because that's where you're going to draw on the resources of your health. You can't draw resources of health on a who. You draw resources on the health on a what. Now in electricity, which is important, the watts or the volts or the huh? Huh? The watts, right? You see, here, we can't even get around it. The guys who make the equipment is forced to what? End up with names producing reflexology. A living reflexology is here facing us all the time. So, for that reason, nature has to provide a compensatory period within 28 days when you can break those rules. And it's called the one day God went out to have a vacation. 6 days he labor and 1 day he rest. That's the old way of saying you can go a certain length of the time eating solar and a certain of the time eating lunar. Now this is what solar eating is. 21 days, D stands for days, before, B stands for before, F stands for full moon, FM. Those 21 days before the full moon equals solar eating. That is, you eat the fruit and nuts in the morning, your optional choice of fiber or tissue in the middle of the day, and your optional choice of fiber and tissue at night for 21 days. Then you have the full moon period, which is called the break off. 3 days before the full moon. One day of the full moon. And 3 days after the full moon. That makes up the lunar cycle. The total is what? 28 days, right? And the moon goes around with the earth 13 times one revolution around the sun. So a year is equal to what? 13 lunar movements. An early man on this continent, how did he count his time? By the moon. So, okay, the first week of May, we had a full moon, right? And so if you want to see a visitor, and the visitor is leaving, and he says, I see you 2 moons from now. He's not going to mean 2 days from now. 2 full moons in your location, he will return to visit. And that was their way of talking, and they found out then, over the entire movement of the earth around the sun, to the change of the temperature to represent season, it took 13 of these moons to complete it. So you have 13 ovums thrown off each year or each revolution around the sun if you don't use them. From the time the person starts to menstruate, every 28 days, one is thrown off. And if it's used, then it's pregnancy. It can't be used a second time. So the action is set up by nature as to what you are in order to stay in focus with the energy fields of your mechanism. And that is your health, because if the person gets pregnant by the sperm bonding with the ovum, what happens to the menstruation cycle, which is a health function now?
It ceases if they get pregnant.
It ceased to flow, right? And that's her signal that she is in that particular situation. But she has to wait, not the very first 28 days. It's the second 28 days to be positive that it is that occurring. Now, if it's not doing that, then some functioning or stress or injury might occur to throw it off. And so we have to reevaluate on the second 28 days what actually is taking place. So we know this as facts to work with, right? Good. Now, the chart of studying lunar eating is based like this. The first meal is called breakfast. Agreed? The second meal is called lunch. And the third meal is called supper. In the normal process of eating, 3 meals a day. You're entitled to 3 meals or 6 small meals, however you want to do it. But we're sticking to the 3 that is optional to everybody. Now, breakfast is in the morning, lunch is in the middle of the day, and supper is at night, right? Agreed. If you're eating solar, what should you eat for breakfast?
Fiber. Fiber.
Fiber in the form of what?
No.
Nuts and fruit, right? Lunch you should be eating what?
Tissue.
The chicken, that's the choice of tissue, yeah?
And carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates and fiber if you want as your middle of the day. And nighttime,
Eggs,
egg or fish,
dairy products.
all right, or any vegetables that under the ground. Good. Okay, that is actual solar eating, right? You can eat like that for 21 days. Now here is your option to satisfy your what? Don't do things where everybody do it, right? And you gotta have it your way. Why? Human beings love to do what? Experiment. Human beings like a vacation from monotony. Didn't God himself who put the whole thing took off on the 7th day? But if he did take off on the 7th day, I wouldn't be breathing right now. So that's a real mind blower, right? What is it really saying to us? Within the lunar cycle, this is what happens. We move the clock forward one meal. So breakfast becomes what? Lunch. Lunch becomes?
Breakfast.
No, we're moving it forward.
Supper begins at lunch.
Supper.
Supper, and supper becomes?
Breakfast.
Good. Now listen to what he said. Today is the first day of the full moon period. And you know the full moon period takes up 7 days, right? Last night was the last night of what? Solar. Good. Now listen carefully. What did you eat last night if you ate solar? What should you have eaten?
Fish.
Hmm?
Fish.
Fish, egg, potatoes, right? Now today is the first day of the solar cycle, 3 days before the full moon. What would you eat for breakfast if you want to take a break?
Same thing you have for dinner.
Something for lunch.
I said you
Oh,
move.
you mean supper? Okay.
All right, what would you eat?
Fish and eggs.
Or you can have fish, eggs.
Good. Then join the British man when he has his fish and kippers, or his eggs and kippers in the morning, and then we want to make it into a lifestyle after the World War II. World War I, we went over there, we didn't know why they were eating their fish and kippers or their eggs in the morning, and they didn't do it all the time till they opened up a lot of restaurants and then they're selling it every day. But were the Englishman doing it unconsciously, or was he consciously aware? Or was the way he took a break off from the regular routine of eating the things that were available to him?
Oh, yeah.
He's taking a break. But he didn't do it as a known lifestyle because he wasn't aware of it as a lifestyle. We now recognizing it has a value, but when it has a value is in the lunar cycle. So, if 3 days before the full moon, we can have fish and eggs in the morning and potato, or we'll have at lunch.
Your fiber.
Hmm?
Your fiber.
Yeah, but what?
Breakfast food.
Breakfast food, fruits and nuts, right? Good. And supper time you would have?
Fiber too. Chicken.
cheese.
Chicken, steak, egg. Well, that's right, good. Now you see, but how many days are you allowed to do it?
You said 3 days. 3 days.
3 days before the full moon.
Right, 3 days.
3 days before the full moon. Now listen carefully. And that is obeying the rules. Now, the day of the full moon is how many days? One. That's the day you do exactly like you did years ago, and still doing in this country. It's called potluck eating. Years ago in this country, when the cowboys and all the farmers went to the ranch, to the church, and they spread, after the ceremony was over, a big sheet, like a picnic sheet, and they put all the food there because they brought it from different areas. The men reached out for a piece of ribs. They went off to chew on it and discuss how to make a horseless carriage. The men reached out for that. The women reached for little fruits or vegetables and went off to a corner to discuss how to make the latest dye for the cotton that they're weaving. And then to get the children out of the hair, said, go on, play, go ahead, help yourself. So the kids all run over to the cloth, pop everything in their mouth, and Grandma and Grandpa are nudging each other and say, honey, look at the future, we go and open a cafeteria. We call that potluck eating or lunar eating, where you can mix anything you want. And that one day, you're allowed to do it for only one basic law in nature. And I give you three choices. Is it the way it grows? Is it because the moon has become full? Or is it the pressure of the moon coming closer to the earth allows you to eat like that on that day? Right. That's the exact answer. Because the moon has come closer to the earth to appear full to the refraction of the light of the sun, it sets up pressure to allow you to put that entire massive mixture into your colon and move it out by the pressure of the fluid in there. So you have what is called a biological intra-intestinal what? Flush. Your own natural colonic machine working for you. Now, when is the tide most powerful? Around the full moon or in the regular moon?
Full moon.
So if the water on the earth, surrounding the earth, is intensified by the pressure, and you're a miniature model reacting within the formation of your body being an ovum and a sperm, are you breaking any laws if you ate that way on that day?
No.
You can't break, no, you can't break it. You couldn't even begin to violate a law. You would have to what? Automatically synchronize naturally with the law and benefit from it. So you see, God, the creative intelligence, knows what it is doing long before we came along to say we're mucking it up. But we're doing it incorrectly, that's all.
So what time of that moon cycle, the 28 days, would be the best days for fasting then?
Yes.
If we're talking about
So that's why today you should buy the calendar, look for when the full moon is, 3 days before the full moon. The day of the full moon in 3 days, you just mark it off your calendar and give yourself a nutritional vacation.
But when should you fast if you're going to fast?
The same time.
Same time.
Yeah.
1 day.
3 days before the full moon, the day of the full moon, or 3 days after the full moon.
Any of that time?
Any of that time, they're beneficial to the body.
Well, I couldn't see fasting 3 days and then eating everything.
Well, this is your option. You'll have
Eat
it.
everything and then fast.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, there you have the option. You see, you can eat all you want on the day of the full moon and fast the next 3 days. That's your option. Okay. Now, the day of the full moon, you can mix it up, right? So if you want to eat what? Apples in the morning with eggs. In the middle of the day, you want to eat fish with potato. See? And at nighttime, you can eat fruits, nuts, whatever you like. You mix it any way you want. So you can go down to Chinatown and you can eat almond, chicken, merdine, where they put chicken, almonds, and shrimp and egg all together, and you indulge. Okay, that's the one day you can do it now. But here is nature's 3 days after the full moon. We're still moving the clock forward. Breakfast becomes now
Lunch.
lunch. Lunch becomes
Supper.
supper. And supper becomes good. Those are the last 3 days after the full moon, right? We agree? Breakfast becomes lunch. Lunch becomes supper. And supper becomes breakfast, the last 3 days of the full moon. Now, here I'm going to throw the question. Last night was the last night of the 3 days after the full moon. What should you eat for supper?
The breakfast foods.
Fiber.
Correct. You should be eating the breakfast foods made up of what? Nuts and fruits, right? Good. Now listen carefully. This morning, is the first day of the next 21 days of the solar eating. What should you have for breakfast?
Nuts and fruits.
Now, you notice something strange happening?
Twice in a row.
And that is what they call cruisomatic cleanup. You can't invent a piece of machinery in this world to say you're so unique when nature done already made it. Stick shift, automatic, cruisomatic. You got all three speeds going for you in your body long before you ever invented a piece of machinery. Do you see it now? If you eat the fruits and nuts last night, did you start the cleanup process in the last phase of the moon?
Mm-hmm.
And if you continue it on the next day into the solar cycle, is not a cruisomatic process automatically clearing itself for what? Returning back to normal?
Mm-hmm.
And you gave yourself a what? A break from the stress level of having to be consistent? Then all work and no play will make you what? And a little play now and then makes you what?
Energetic.
Good. And that is exactly why nature set it in such a way to eat within the solar movement and the lunar movement so that you can function. And you have your energy field working for you. So I'll ask again now. If last night was the night before the full moon, this morning, what can I eat? Anything, right? Anything, good, anything. And now, if last night was the last night after the full moon,
Yeah, breakfast.
I have breakfast, right. And this morning I can clean up again and go back to what?
Solar eating.
Solar eating. Good. You got the picture. That clear? Everybody got clear? Okay, now we're going to go to your blood type. So you see, it is not what you eat that's going to make you sick, right? It's when you put it in, making you sick. And it isn't taking away anything from you that you didn't like. It's giving you all the options to put it in when you like it and how you like it. Now, blood types. There's a type A, B, AB, O. And the RH factors are called plus minus.
The A is the RH factor.
No, RH factor is this, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus.
They all, okay.
Yeah, those are the RH factors. Meaning, simple, that O type can absorb fast or absorb slow.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't say one is better than the other. They're just the way the blood works in them. Now, so you have 4 types with their RH factors. Now, type A and AB, these two can be 100% fiber eater. Type A and AB can be 100% fiber eater. Type B and O, these two can be 100% tissue eater. But in nature, there is no such thing as 100% solar or 100% lunar. So there is no such thing as 100% tissue or 100% fiber. Macrobiotic proved that already when they tried to be 100%, and I prove it myself by being sick. You can't be 100% anything. Nature don't provide that. Nature is 100% by herself incorporating 2 opposites. So, and the 2 opposites are 80-20. 80% of the time you have to be alkaline, and 20% of the time you have to be acid. So there's no way you can be 100% acid or 100% alkaline. You'll be dead. And a dead body is either too acid or too alkaline anyhow. So the healthy body is in between. So the actual chemical balance is 80% alkaline and 20% acid, and there's where your macrobiotic came in to be a contribution to eating. But macrobiotic does not know when to put foods in either, so they have a problem. Now, we realize that we cannot be 100% anything, but we do realize we can regulate when to put it in. So, I used to be 100% fiber eater without knowing my blood type. And then when I was told by the doctor when I had the examination, "You have cancer, Mr. Lee." I said, "What?" "You have cancer." I said, "That can't be, doc. I don't drink alcohol, I don't eat meat, and those are things that contribute to cancer." He looked at me and says, "Man, this is your readings what you got." I said, "Oh my God." "No, I'll tell you what, doc. When the man that abuses his body and the one that doesn't abuse his body both have the same disease, they're ignorant." You know ignorant? And I'm ignorant. I'm going to find out once and for all what the hell to do to stay healthy. Because I didn't abuse my body by taking alcohol, I didn't abuse it by drinking, eating meat, and I got this kind of disease. That don't make sense. Something is wrong in nutrition. It's not abstinence. That's how I come to focus upon when I put the substance in versus what I was putting in. I come to realize that the body has to be 80% alkaline and 20% acid, but because I didn't know my blood type, I overemphasize one of the two conditions: not too toxic or too toxic. In my case, I oversize not too toxic. So, here's a funny phenomenon. When you're a type A or AB, you're usually born in a home where meat and alcohol is occasionally used. Not too much. And yet, in a strange way, you always want to sneak out to indulge in hamburgers and drinks. And the bulk of the people who break the rules to become addicts are the A and the AB type. And that's a funny joke about nature. Now, when you're born in a B and an O home, where they have lots of meat and drink, and where you may have to help daddy kill the animal because that's the way you're coming in, you always sneak out to be what? A holy and thou altar boy or altar girl. And you want to have nothing to do with fish or egg or anything, and so you're trying to be what? One of the saints in the magazines, right? So, but you end up sick, because those are the types that overindulge in abstinence. And the others are trying to indulge in addiction. Now, having the facts to work with, we can make a compensation for actual functioning and staying healthy. We're not designed to eat tissue, I said, but we can compensate it by one or two things. If you really don't want to touch the tissue, because tissue doesn't digest, it decomposes in your body, and it has the uric acid and the adrenaline, the compensation for not eating tissue, you must eat acid foods to compensate. And the acid foods must be in a refined form. So anything that comes in a refined way goes in, a little of it is medicine for your system. Too much is going to be bad for your system. Equally true, the person who is a type B or O, if they don't want to use the tissue, they have to use, again, the refined foods and the other vegetables to keep their body in balance. Now, that's an optional condition of not wanting to touch tissue. But if you're functioning and knowing that it's not what you eat now, but when you eat it, you're clear to use either tissue or fiber. So you're not some person feeling left out or you're trying to be different than others. You know when to do it. See the difference now? One is rational and the one is your own selective choice, which you have a right as a person to be with the tissue or without the tissue. But you must know what to do if you don't want to touch the tissue. You don't want to touch the tissue or the alcohol, then make sure you got some refined foods. Make sure you have little lousy Coca-Cola.
You're talking refined foods. What do you
White bread.
And that's for type O.
Type A too.
There we go.
Yeah. That's to
That
give
way
you,
your sugar and
that's your,
coffee
right,
and
that's for your
something
acid, right. That's to get your acids. Now, here is the problem. Type A and type AB, if they overeat too much meat or drink too much alcohol, which they have a tendency to do because they don't know their blood type, they get too acid. Now, B and O, they may avoid the meat and the alcohol and stay strictly on vegetables and grain, and they get too alkaline. So they end up both having the same disease. It's called cancer. So, so that's a funny joke on nature. But in order to stay healthy, you can utilize, and this is the way you utilize it. One egg, and I talk of the American egg, not the Oriental eggs, because in America, no rooster chases after the hen. But in foreign countries, roosters are chasing after the hen to make all the eggs. You didn't know that, huh? Because they don't have what is called control egg growing machines for the hen. And in this country, all they do is take the chicken, put them in the pens, feed them laying mash, and pick up the egg every day. So there's no rooster chasing them. So if you read of any books in the ancient writings says, don't eat eggs because you're taking life, it's not really valid. It's only because the rooster is chasing after the hen, fertilizing it, and reacting, then they will say you're eating fertilized eggs. But unfertilized eggs has nothing in it. So an American egg is an unfertilized egg. But other eggs on a farm where roosters are chasing after the hen, that's the possibility of fertilizing. But we don't have that in this particular opportunity around us. Now, egg per se, one in the evening, B-O-A, A-B, B or O, is a natural acid balancer for your health. If you don't touch no other substance to maintain the acid balance, and you eat a lot of fresh vegetables and grain, make sure you have something that is acid balanced, and an egg will stabilize it. And you will not build up cholesterol bulk that people talk about, because when are you eating the egg?
In the evening.
In the evening, when it's supposed to be eaten, and therefore nature will compensate all that and pass it through, and you will have your chemical balance working in your body. You got that clear? Now, if you want to go one step further, the next thing is a piece of fish, and that's nighttime. So in that order of acidity, you work your way back from the egg to the fish, then to the chicken, then to the beef. That's how you work your way back. Now, if you don't use the egg or the fish or the chicken or the beef, you can use 1 jigger of wine. Any type of alcohol, but only one little jigger, and a jigger isn't toxic to the body. A jigger is medicinal to the body, and it's biological antifreeze for the body. Now, if you believe that your body can function without alcohol, it's not valid. Your body, no matter how much you abstain from alcohol, is manufacturing alcohol. Every doctor knows that, every scientist knows that, so the only reason it goes off is because you put in too much. But for it to function and operate as a biological antifreeze, it has to make it for the spinal column. So regardless you eat or you fast, your body will make it. So you see how we are uninformed as to how our bodies operate. So one jigger is just a cap full. Then select the time when you use it to your own benefit, and the middle of the day is not too ideal because you're working. Evening when you finish work and you're in your home, one little capful of wine of any evening under the ground, and I prefer to use pineapple juice with tequila because it's made from the maguey and it has vitamin C. It stabilizes my body, and that's sufficient for you to stay healthy medicinally without getting sick. We'll come to vitamin C and show you how it works. But first I want you to understand your blood type, and I want you to be aware that you have the options to keep your body healthy according to your blood type in reference to what systems you want to eat.
Okay, so then in order to stay balanced, we should eat within the guidelines of what you have told us here. For instance, if we don't know our blood type, we should eat a little bit of all the food.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we can have alcohol if we don't work in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
If we work, have it in the evening.
All right, okay. Now, remember, Paul told Timothy, take a little wine for your stomach's sake, and he didn't say brain or head. He said stomach. Where Timothy was traveling in that part of the world, had he not taken a little wine, he would have died of amoebic dysentery. And that's the reason Paul told him to take it. Now, most people never knew that, but they found out later on that amoebic dysentery is prevalent throughout those eastern parts of the world. And people who have gone over on trips, when they came to me and they said, Adano, we're going to go over and we don't want to take these different type of medicine. I said, well, the wisest thing to do, whenever you get there, take a jigger of the local alcohol before you eat, and you would never have the problem. Most of them did it, and those that didn't do it got the problem. Well, here's the joke. Those that did it had no problem until they came back to America. And then they came next day and said, Adano, I have this aching. I said, you mean you come back to America and you didn't take a little Jim Beam? No, I'm in America. I say, you work here. If you're over there, you've been so long and your body has to be immunized, don't you expect when you come back here, you're crossing the globe, the body's going to have to be adapted to this way? Go get yourself a jigger of Jim Beam and take it. And so they went and got it, and they were corrected. I said, now remember again, it is not quantity that is important. It's when you put it in and where you're putting it in at that particular frame. So now they go out and travel and they do business all over the world, and they are the ones that don't have the problems. All their other associates are getting the problem. The other associates eat in their own version of eating, and they look at my friends and says, how come you guys don't get the problem, but you eat so weird? So my friend says, yeah, our weirdness keeps us healthy. He ain't giving him no other explanation. So we are weird, yeah, we eat food at different time, but at least we take a little wine, and so they overcome their problems.
And they take the wine before they eat.
Yeah. Or if you can take, now here's another interesting thing. The Chinese for centuries have developed a wine. It's called sake by the Japanese. It's otherwise known as rice wine. Now I said to you before, rice is not a grain, it's a what?
Grass.
A grass. So you have nature's most unique sterilizer against any amoebic problem, more so than a grape, in hot rice wine. And don't take it cold. Now, the rice wine made from rice, when poured over tissue before you eat it, or if you want, here's a little dish of the hot rice wine. It has to be hot, not cold. You want to eat a piece of fish or chicken, you just take it and dunk it in the hot wine to insulate it against any bacterial formation, and then eat it. It'll pass right through. Won't do your fingertip. I had to do it to prove it to myself, so I know it doesn't. And so those who had to do it to find out and get well, this is exactly what they do now. They travel all over the world, and they join their business associates, and they don't feel threatened because the business associate may be eating something and say, well, would you like a hot sack? Sure. But before, they might say, no, I don't touch this stuff. I take them. Not today. They're doing it, and they know when they're doing it, and the body is operating efficiently.
Now, is that just before the evening meal that you're talking about?
Sake, hot sake, can be taken 3 times a day without any problem to your body. Other alcohols have to be within the growth cycle of where it is formed. But sake is made from rice. Rice is neutral to your body. It would not do you any toxic action. It will keep it from getting parasitical deposits and sterilize the body. So that's the advantage of rice, made into a form of sake. It must be drunk hot. It's called a rice wine. Now, here is the symptoms of people who get too acid and the symptoms of people who get too alkaline. Type A and AB, they get too alkaline from eating too much fiber. That's not true, because they're allowed to eat a lot of fiber. But they'll get too acid from eating too much what? Meat and tissue foods, and drinks, because why? Their body can't handle too much of it. But they'll get too acid, and they get acid very fast. More so than if they eat a lot of grain and don't put in any other stuff, they will stay alkaline and no problem. But the body is not 100% alkaline or 100% acid, it's 80-20. So they must utilize something to keep acid. But if they put too much, they'll get what? A disease known as acidosis. And once they get this disease, they got every label from A to Z in the acidosis range. So there are many, many diseases in the acidosis range. Well, here is the symptoms that you can recognize if they have it. When a person is too acid, they have a white tongue. It's coated. They have a hacking cough. Right now. They sneeze and mucus comes up and they want to spit it out. Hacking cough, coated tongue, sneeze and mucus comes up. Their skin gets dry and cracky. And a yellow fluid oozes out through the cracks.
Yellow fluid.
Yeah, a yellow liquid.
Yeah.
Oozes out through the cracks of the skin. Now you know they're very acid and they can have any disease from A to Z. They are extremely acid. They're suffering from acidosis. Now, if they're alkaline, and that's the B and the O, because they're the ones who want to abstain and overindulge in not taking part in anything. They don't even want to touch a glass of wine, or don't even want to smell near a piece of egg or a fish. They get very alkaline. All they want to eat is raw vegetables and grain, and they get very alkaline. Now, this is what happens to them. See, I have to know because I've been down the road myself. You get a hacking cough. They have the most beautiful tongue in the world. It's so pink, it doesn't have a streak of white in it. But you know they're doggone sick with cancer.
Hmm?
They're sick with cancer.
When the tongue's pink?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that, huh?
No.
It's extremely pink, no coating on it. They have the hacking cough. They don't have any mucus. Their skin gets very dry and cracks. And you know that person is extremely alkaline. And they'll get every disease from A to Z in the alkaline range. So whenever you see somebody with an extremely nice pink tongue, you have to watch out because they get into alkaline.
So the symptoms are basically the same except for the color of the tongue, then?
That's right, and there's a slight whiteness in the alkaline person of the B and the O, and in the A and the AB, the tongue must be slightly pink-white. It must not be too white or too pink. It must be pink-white.
Now, can they suffer from the opposites?
Yeah.
How do you balance it?
Huh?
How do you balance the two?
When the person gets too acid, which is a and AB type, you keep them on raw vegetables. When the person is too alkaline, you keep them on some eggs. Yet nature has provided within the tree light growth certain foods that are acid and certain foods that are alkaline. The biggest common disease among acid people is called candida.
Mm-hmm.
Candida.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are very acid suffer from candida. And candida are people who love to eat what? Sweets? Bread. Good. Now, if I ask you, how would you like a piece of lemon for breakfast? What would you say? You don't like that, right? Huh? Don't you like a little pickle for lunch? Hmm?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Or a sour plum? Or bitter melon? Those foods make you what?
Make them alcoholic.
Yeah, good. It's kind of cool. But that's the essence of the cure. The very thing that will make you constrict in terms of the problem is the therapy. So if you want to cure the person or rid the person of candida, which we do very fast, we give them in the morning tamarind to eat.
What?
Tamarind.
Tea? That's a spice, isn't it?
No, it's a fruit.
Fruit.
Tamarind.
Tangerine.
Tamarind.
Tamarind.
Yeah. Tamarind. It's called tamarind. And you go in the grocery store, and if you go to any area where you have health food stores, you may run into it. It looks like this is what it looks like. It grows on a tree. Inside of it, it has a seed in each one of these little pockets.
It's like a locust thing.
Yeah. And a locust is similar but different. A locust is what you call carob, and the seed is surrounded by a powdery stuff that is similar like cocoa. That's a carob. This bean looks the same in shape, has an outer hardness like the carob or the locust, and but the texture inside is like a piece of meat, and it's very sour, but it'll cure you of your candida.
How does an O person then get an ulcer?
Hmm?
I said, how would a person with O-type blood get an ulcer? Isn't that high acid?
They usually get ulcers from being alkaline, not from acid.
Oh, from alkaline.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had also. I had to go back and eat cabbage juice with cayenne pepper to cure it.
Because when I was treated for mine, they said it was an acid condition, and it was the old routine of the milk and stay away from raw vegetables and all that stuff.
Well, in my case, it was too alkaline. I ate a lot of acid foods, yes, but that didn't give me the ulcer. My alkalinity gave me my ulcer, and at the same time, I got the cancer from that also. So I became too alkaline. And I was forced to go back to correct the ulcer. I took cabbage and made cabbage juice, 1 8-ounce glass, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Mix the two and drink it in 3 sessions. That's 3 days, and then take the test. Ulcer was corrected.
What about acidophilus for candida?
Now, you have 2 sources of acidophilus, one that comes from a cow and one that comes from a goat.
Mm-hmm.
The candida in this country are people who are suffering from what?
Alkaline or acid?
And so from a cow's milk is not ideal for the person that's suffering. They need the goat milk.
That's for the alkaline person, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's go on. We know that you got to be 80% alkaline and 20% acid, right? Good. We know our blood types, right? So find out which is yours, and then you can moderate your diet to be healthy. I didn't know mine, so I got sick. Now I know mine, I'm a type O. No matter how I try, I cannot be a vegetarian. But I can be a cannibal eater and overindulge. Not practical, because nature doesn't allow us to be 100% anything. So for that matter, eating within the time frame and the selective choice of the middle of the day and night between fiber and tissue, I stay functional all the time. All right. Anybody want to?
What time of the day should milk or cheese products be consumed?
First, before you decide to eat a cheese or a milk product, you must look at some basic facts of an adult versus a child. A child, after it reaches a certain age, does not produce the rennet to break down foods containing lactic acid coming from a cow, or even, for that matter, anything that has milk in it, which is a lactic base. To be an adult now and to push it to the extent that you want to eat it, you don't have the rennet, so you're not going to break down dairy products no matter how you try to fool yourself. And even if you put it in the middle of the day, it will still cause mucus. Follow me? So it's not an ideal food after a certain age for the adult or for the child. The only milk product that is equivalent to the human body, and since the human body has a milk of its own and a lactic base of its own, and that lactic base is alkaline, that applies to every blood type, is goat milk or deer milk or lap. Any of the other creatures' milk that are alkaline will work, but a cow will not work properly. It will make mucus. So for that reason, we don't emphasize using dairy products in the middle of the day. We prefer to use nut milks, seed milks, grain milk. They are more efficient and does not have lactic acid in it. But if you're going to eat it and you want to eat it because you want to be persistent, anytime from midday to 7 o'clock.
But don't the bacteria that break the milk down into cheese make it digestible? I mean, cheese is different from milk.
If you eat the cheese, you think it's going to help you in the calcium in your bone? You see, I ate a lot for broken bones. It didn't do a doggone thing for me. My bones wouldn't heal. Fish told me that the calcium in a cheese is totally useless as far as my bones were concerned. But if I wanted, and I had to do it, to build my teeth back and to build my bones after they were broken, I had to eat a certain type of cheese. Now, for my bones, I ate feta cheese. You ever heard of feta cheese? F-E-T-A, feta. And that is made from goat milk. It made my bones bond themselves properly, and it rebuilt my bone marrow by putting in the clarified butter with dolomite and with the silicon from the pickle and the silicon and iron from the spinach. That built my bones. Wherever they broke, they bonded properly without any problem. I ate a lot of other cheese. It didn't do nothing more than went through the system and clog it up. Now, when it came to my teeth, there are only 3 types of cheese that will work in your teeth, and all the rest will ruin it. So if you want to build your teeth back, you need to eat cheddar or Swiss or Monterey Jack. These 3 eaten between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening, together with a clove of garlic and a slice of purple onion, providing the fluorine and the chlorine with the calcium, will insulate your teeth against every known illness the mouth can produce.
What time did you say?
Between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening.
Clove of garlic and...
A clove of garlic for the fluorine, a slice of purple onion for the chlorine, and the calcium with the particular enzymes that makes those 3 types of food into a cheese are ideal for the gums and the teeth. But it will not work on a bone, and it won't work on your skin. Now, your skin needs calcium. Otherwise, it breaks down. It gets old and rot and dry up.
Garlic gives you... What's the purple onion give you and what's the garlic give you?
The garlic gives you fluorine. That's what they call fluorides in your... that's a young man who is our host. He works in a place, and they put fluoride in the toothpaste. And chlorine in Clorox. It comes from onions, you know. You can also get out of the ground. But this is natural organic chlorine and natural organic fluorine incorporated with calcium for your gums. That's what you're putting it in for. Now, I have done the other cheese, and it didn't do anything more for me, so we've tested it over and over on animals. It didn't work.
Why is that time period so narrow? I mean, why is
The
it
purple
so
onion gives you...
Purple onion is for the chlorine.
Purple onion gives you chlorine?
The garlic gives you fluorine.
Chlorine, okay.
The onion gives you chlorine. Got it?
I got it.
Okay. Now this young lady asked, why is that time frame so critical? What is cheese made of?
milk?
Listen what you just said. What is it made of? Huh?
I say milk.
Good. Where do milk come from? 2-legged or 4-legged creatures?
4-legged.
Good. Okay. Up to what time would you eat a 4-legged creature?
6.
Good. Where does garlic come from?
The ground.
And where does onion come from? So if you combine the 2, what are you actually doing? You're phasing out one and phasing in the other. Therefore, you're automatically setting a cruisomatic cleanup of your colon. But you'll find here's a funny phenomenon. If you eat a piece of cheddar cheese, Monterey Jack, or Swiss cheese with a slice of garlic and onion, I want you to chew it so well in your mouth that you don't have a single thing left other than the liquid solution, because everything will dissolve totally in your mouth. Then you swallow it. And you can do it for a couple of days and go let your dentist look at your mouth. He'll be freaking out. Where the hell you get such nice teeth from? But you, as one dentist friend of mine says, Adano, you've helped my wife, but you're putting me out of business.
So how many days would you
Because
do
the
that?
odor, huh?
Huh?
The odor.
No. You can put a sprig of parsley for the odor. And that'll get rid of all the odor of the garlic and the onion.
How often would you do so?
I do it once a day as a form of nutritional input for the calcium of the teeth and the gums. Mm.
You do that all month long or just during the
As
school
it's
year?
nutritional input. And so you can do it once a day, and that's the time to put it in. You don't need it more than once a day.
Right.
Or if you don't have any gum problems or teeth problems, once a week is all right. But if you do have any problems with your teeth and your gums, do it till it corrects itself. And it'll correct very fast. Okay. We know our blood types, we know the RH factors, and we know what is happening if we are too acid and too alkaline, right? Good. Now we want to know what foods must be cooked and what foods must not be cooked. There is only one style of cooking I don't recommend. Any other style of cooking is accepted by the human body. But then again, there is something that we do that is better than cooking, and you had it in lunch today. It's called dextrinization of the carbohydrates, where you saute the vegetable for a few minutes, put it in the oven at 180 to 200 degrees, and let it dextrinize for 15 minutes. That is the conversion of a starch into a sugar for immediate absorption in your body. It's a form of superoctane. What we want to point out now is this is the only type of cooking that is not recommended. Don't deep fry. Eat your food any other way, cook if you like, or raw, but don't deep fry it. There is no way you're going to get the enzymic action or your digestive tract to break it down properly. It's going to clog up, and eventually it's going to end up in your ileocecal valve. And 9 times out of 10, I don't know if anybody in this room has had appendix removed.
Yeah.
No? You've had your appendix removed? Good. That's because the fried food and the fiber is stuck in that area and doesn't come out. So they have to remove the appendix. How are you? You have your appendix?
Yeah, I have mine.
Good.
Well, what happens then if they take your appendix out while they're doing other abdominal surgery?
That is
It's
because
these days is they take it out while they're there.
they take it out because it's clogging, and they've seen the clogging up, and therefore it's a threat to the mechanism. Sooner or later it's going to back up. And so when they remove it, they're trying to shunt the waste out, and that's where colon irrigation comes in as a process of keeping the colon cleaning instead of removing organs.
Adano?
Yeah.
So you said that the appendix is clogging up with oil, or the valve?
The valve in the ileocecal valve is clogged up by the residue deposit of the French fry that does not break down. The oil has to be of a certain heat to take a vegetable and immerse it, and then the oil coagulates around the vegetable very fast, so when you take it out, it looks brown, crispy, smells good, but very... That's exactly what had happened. It's a shellac coating over the vegetable, and the vegetable is almost semi-raw inside. But when you put it in your mouth, the crispiness, you fool yourself in eating it because of the fact that it tastes like that. Don't confusing eating for taste and eating for health. You're entitled to eat for taste periodically, but you also should eat for health most of the time. So this is the only style of cooking that's not ideal, deep fry. Any other style of cooking is ideal. Now, we go and we see chicken that is deep fried. If they would take the chicken and bake it, or braise it and put it in the oven and finish it, it'd be a whole lot better, but they don't do it because it's fast food and that's professional business. So don't compare that. As far as you want to stay healthy, I don't recommend it because it isn't, you're going to have the problem in your sickle valve. And you know that from colon irrigation, when you got to clean it, it's pretty clogged up. So it's best to eat your vegetables or your fish or anything in the other style of cooking, and I prefer saute or bake. Barbecue is all right, but don't deep fry. Okay. Foods that for breakfast, and I'm dealing with the breakfast now, in the morning. These foods should be cooked. Don't eat them raw. Cashew. Don't eat it raw. Now let me ask a good question. Anyone know what a cashew is?
Fruit.
Yeah? And where is this cashew nut located?
Up in a tree.
Up in a tree. You sure now?
No, it's on a bush, you know.
You sure now?
There's cashew over the ground. Whatever it is, it's poisonous.
Hmm?
It's poisonous raw.
Right, yeah. Tell me where it is. Hmm? Now I'm going to blow your mind away. That's the shape of a cashew fruit. It looks like a pear. It grows on a tree. It has a seed inside as big as a kiwi fruit and brown like a kiwi fruit and hairy outside like a coconut. But the meat of the cashew around it is like cotton candy. So it's a waste of time to ship it to any country to sell it. Yet Mother Nature has performed a great trick by filtering the waste products out of the fruit into an enema bag. The first natural enema bag nature developed. And the waste product of that fruit is the nut called calcium minus lactic acid, trapped up in here, now known as cashew nut. But they make a fortune selling it to you, but if you eat it raw, you can get sick. But if you cook it, roast it, and if you have children that can't nurse, and if you're compassionate to work with adopted children, and you know they are not going to nurse, then this is the most natural milk to give them in the body in the morning. High calcium for the teeth, high calcium for the intestinal tract and the skin. But it doesn't have lactic acid. And so when you encounter researchers saying milk is very high in calcium, don't get carried away. Nut milk, like cashew, has calcium, but it doesn't have lactic acid. So it's not going to be classified under the calcium foods, because all the calcium foods that are classified as big sources, easy sources, would be containing lactic acid. This one would not be classified, but then you're looking for it in its actual chemical component minus lactic acid. It is there in the morning. No, but you got to roast it. Don't eat it raw. Here's another food that you must cook. Here's a banana that never gets ripe, no matter how it tries. Its name is called plantain. Have you ever seen a plantain? It's a banana that never gets ripe. But you know something? You take the plantain. Have you got it in this grocery store here? Good. Do you know how to cook it?
I've seen them fried.
That's why they have this, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you now so you can stay healthy. Take the plantain, keep it till it gets slightly brown, or if you're already brown, fine. Put it in the oven at 375 degrees and let it bake till the skin pops. And you're going to smell it in the room, very fragrant, baking like when the skin pops.
375.
375, going on to 400. And the skin will pop at the side, and it'll come out looking yellow. It's not finished yet. Let it stay baking in that same heat until that yellow turns slightly copper color. And you can probe it with a fork, and you see it'll be firm by then. When it pops through the skin, it'll be soft and mushy, but it will look yellow. You have to let it stay in there till it cooks a little longer and turns slightly copper color, and it's firm with a fork. Then you take it out and let it cool off. And you have two options of when to eat it. For the man, he eats it at night. For the woman, she eats it in the morning. It is a hormone balancer. Now you hear all the researchers are saying adult people should have a little more spunk in their bed games. Well, plantain will turn on that spunk. So for the man, feed him the plantain at night. For the woman, eat the plantain in the morning.
That would balance hormonal problems during menopause, too.
That's right. You don't have menopause no more. Your word is menopause. So you can throw it out to the garbage now and start being happy.
You said you did it a couple times a week.
You can eat it a couple of times a week, but it's a very healthy, nutritional food for the person after 40 years of age, because they say life begins at 40. Well, who does it begin for 40? The man or the woman? Most of the time it begins for the woman. By that time the man is phasing down and the woman is aggravated. What the heck happened? She got married and had children and ready now to be the woman. He's already made his lifestyle and he starts phasing out. And so they start blaming each other instead of blaming certain actual facts of what is about their nutritional input and time frame, and get back to the hormonal functionings of their body. And nothing wrong with that, because nature set us up like that. So plantain is a natural food setup, but it will never get ripe. It has to be cooked. Now, here's another food. It's called breadfruit. I don't know if you've heard of it. Breadfruit, it comes from Hawaii most of the time. And normally when it's cooking, it smells like bread baking. Now here's a funny phenomenon. Coconut if you eat coconut, the oils of the coconut tends to give you high cholesterol. But it will not affect you if you rub it on the skin outside. So coconut oil was primarily designed by nature as a cosmetic process and for utilizing in the making of soap, for cleaning the body, and for shampoos and different. Taken naturally by itself like that into the mouth, it will build up cholesterol in your arteries. But here nature comes back to compensate you. Outside of the mouth, not heated up and made into a cosmetic, it will not hurt the body. Inside the mouth, it will hurt the body as a saturated oil. Yet, if you combine the plantain, the breadfruit, and the coconut together, and you got to cook the three together, for the first time, the coconut oil does not act as a saturated oil. It acts as an unsaturated oil. There is the chemistry of these three foods providing the first opportunity for the coconut to be eaten without clogging up your arteries. Outside of that, coconut is no acid through the mouth in terms of the oil. It's ideal in terms of putting it on the skin, and the coconut milk would be all right. But if you ever see coconut, here is how coconut is. When it falls from the tree green, the liquid inside here is like a juice, clear. You have no problem. You can pop it open, break off the shell. It's green-looking shell, and inside it's clear like a piece of plastic or wood, but the water is clear, and you can drink that. There is no threat to your body. There is no cholesterol there to bother you. The next level of that coconut, if you leave it in that condition for a while, or it's on the tree, but most of the time it's on the ground, that liquid will turn like a jello, where you can actually scoop it off from the shell. And it's a texture of jello. Up to that point, no threat to your body in terms of cholesterol. If you leave it to dry, and where the actual coconut substance turns hard, that you can chew on it like a piece of toast. If you grate it on top of cake, no problem. Nature has provided you 3 ways to eat it in its raw state. But if you cook it and pour it on any other stuff, it'll become a saturated oil. Yet if you cook it with these 2 other foods, it will not do that. So that's nature's compensation. So in the tropical countries, what do you see when they eat coconut? They pick it when it's green and they just drink it like that. And if they want to have a celebration, they break the shell with the coconut water, they add a little rum made from the sugar cane, and they have cocoa roco at midday. So that's a very good drink around midday. Coconut juice with a little rum made from the sugar cane. But this here, in the morning, combined, no problem, by itself.
How do you put those 3 together?
You take the plantain, you bake it. You take the potato, the coconut, and you bake it. And as soon as they finish bake, you blend the 2 together like a cake dough or bread dough. Then you take the coconut, wrap it around it to make kind of a crusty finish, put it back in the oven and let it bake slightly so they blend into each other. And you have a delicious cake you can eat in the morning. Now if people want dessert, you got it right there. And now you can finish off the dessert like this. Here is the plantain cooked up. Here is the breadfruit cooked up. And here is the coconut put all over it. And you can take some cocoa with maple syrup and make yourself a chocolate coating. And you got a cake. And if you want to add some almonds, cashews, you got a fantastic cake. So happy birthday to me. See, you didn't break a single rule in nutrition, and you have one of the most delicious dessert cake in the morning made from foods right growing on a tree. Now if you want to make ice cream, take that little cashew up there, right? Make the milk with it, and then put it through your freezer, and it comes up. You whip it up, and then you spread it on top, and you got cashew milk ice cream. So you can't say you don't have a lot of opportunities to eat healthy without getting sick. Now that's in the morning. Don't eat these foods raw. Always cook them. Now, lunchtime. So you don't have too many foods to cook in the morning. They're all available to eat raw. But lunchtime, we have now tomato. Unless the tomato is vine ripened, and you know what vine ripened means? There is no speck of green where it hooked to the vine. It's totally clear, pink, red. Then you can eat it raw. But if it's not vine ripened, and it has specks of green, you have to cook it. And it makes good tomato sauce, good tomato soup. So, now, but macrobiotic don't eat it because they say it's toxic. Now, eggplant. Bell pepper. The three together makes a terrific meal. You ever try making it and serving it with a fettuccine? Or serving it with a nice meatball made of graham burger? Or if you want to use genuine beef or genuine ham, then you got right there in the middle of the day, and you'll never gain weight.
It'll still be okay over brown rice too? Like
Yes, that's right, exactly. And you eat any kind of beans you want and bread, perfect combination then. But they have to be cooked. Rhubarb. Artichoke. Have you ever eaten artichoke? You steam it and you eat it? Good. Rhubarb, the rhubarb pie. They have to be cooked. Now the other rest of foods can be eaten raw or sprouted. Now, nighttime. Now here comes the thing. Do not cook spinach. It's better to eat your spinach raw. But nighttime, we have now potato. It grows under the ground. It's a nightshade family like these three here, tomato, eggplant, and bell pepper. But most people would not touch it because they say it's toxic. When you know when to eat it, you have no problem. Potato is a nighttime food. Now, sweet potato and yam can be eaten raw. The white potato, Idaho or those other kinds, no, you have to cook it. As I said, the only style of cooking is don't deep fry it. Bake it, boil it, do whatever you want. It's perfect for the potato.
What's wrong with the raw, regular white potato?
You will irritate the lining of the intestinal tract. If you haven't also, it'll aggravate you very miserably before the dawn comes up. And you'll be vomiting a lot. So it's not a practical food raw, especially if you have ulcers. So it's best to eat it in its cooked state, and you're not eating it for its nitrogen. You're eating it for its mineral content. So that's what you want it for. Asparagus. Peanuts. Mushrooms. They must be cooked, don't eat them raw. And sometimes you may go out and see at the, what you call those salad bars, and they put raw mushrooms. Do yourself a favor, leave it.
What happens there?
You'll get fungus, and let me put it this way. In America, we suffer from cirrhosis of the liver because we drink too much alcohol at the wrong time. The Asiatic person suffers from fungated liver because he eats too many raw substances at the wrong time. And if he eats mushroom that grows under the ground, it's a fungi, they are the only people that don't eat it raw. They'll never eat a raw mushroom because they've already had their fungated liver and they know it's bad for the liver. So they'll cook it.
Now, how come asparagus can't be eaten raw? But that has to be cooked.
Don't eat it raw.
Yeah, why?
It has an acid in there that will aggravate your gallbladder. So you should cook it. You see, I ate it years ago and I had to have my gallbladder removed, so. As I say, when you indulge and you abstain and you both get the same disease, you're ignorant. And that's my problem. I avoided believing I'm doing the right thing only to end up being more sick. Now there's one more food at night time that must be cooked. And that is cactus or yucca root. That's it. All right. Now, when it comes to nutrition, there is only one vitamin that is recognized as the antitoxin vitamin. Which is it?
Vitamin C.
Hmm?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, right? Good. If nature had no intention to insulate you before you came on this planetary systems, she would not set up the most unique vitamin to detoxify the system and at the same time maintain the highest health within 3 light frames. If you have a cold in the chest, and that is located in what zone?
2.
Hmm?
2.
In your chest?
Oh, 1.
Zone 1. What is the fastest vitamin C that will get rid of it?
I always take 500, but are you thinking about the granular? I take C500 with the flavonoids and so forth.
If I had a cold in my chest, I'll reach for an orange
An orange?
and get rid of my cold by the next morning, because vitamin C is in the orange and it's found in a citrus substance that is highly alkaline that will rid the lungs of all the mucus in a matter of 24 hours.
1 orange.
1 orange or 1 grapefruit or 1 lemon, anything that is citrus. It grows on a tree, it's not. Now next to the orange is the acerola cherry. It grows on a tree, has vitamin C.
You still eat all these in the morning.
And that's what I'm eating it for, is zone 1. So if I eat it as a precautionary method, will I have chest problems?
No, you don't.
Good. Now listen to me. Now if I want to clean my veins from varicose veins that is loaded up with iron oxides, there is no better remedy than a hot orange. You can try all the remedies. We have cleaned enough varicose veins over the years with simple use of hot orange. And this is how you do it. You take a stainless steel pot, don't use enamel. I mean, don't use aluminum. You can use enamel, stainless steel, or glass. You put an orange in it, and you put cold water to allow the orange to float. No amount of water will make the orange drowned. But you want to have enough cold water to allow the orange to float. That clear? So it should be like this. This is the water, and the orange should be. And you can never drown an orange, no matter how you try. Good. Then you bring the water to a boil. And as soon as the water starts boiling, you must clock it. Allow it to boil in the boiling water for 3 minutes. Then you turn the fire off. Don't burn your hand, because many people call me and said they burn their hand trying to take the orange out. Please don't burn your hand. I have to include all this data, you know, sometimes. It sounds funny, but I had to go through that. Use some kind of a rag to take the orange out and hold the orange like this. See? Like that. And then take a knife and cut it this way through the skin, and then cut it this way like a cross, and pull the skin off from around the warm orange. Then eat that warm orange after you take the skin off. And if it has any seed, bite into the seed and eat the nut. Now, the remedy is this. First, calculate how many revolutions you made around the sun. So if you are 30 revolutions around the sun, that means 30 years to some people. And as I said before, years is a bad term. You'll sick and die off. Revolutions are better. And then you multiply it by 12 to represent the 12 months. So it's 360, right? 360 months, right? Now, one orange is equal to 1 month. So how many months do I have now?
You got 359 left after you eat the first orange.
One orange is equal to 1 month. How many oranges are you going to have to eat?
3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
3 years? 1 month?
One more orange is equal to 1 month. Huh?
What did you say, 360? 3 times 12.
12 times 30 is how many?
360,
That's 360 months, right?
Yeah.
1 month is equal to 1 orange. How many months of it?
360 oranges.
360 oranges. How long will it take you to eat it up?
3 years.
No.
How long?
1 orange a day?
1 year. 1 year. 1
Good.
year.
No.
Yeah. 12 months, in other words.
Okay. You should eat up your 360 oranges in exactly 360 days at the rate of 1 per day, right? Good. But when do you eat it?
In the mid-morning.
At 10 o'clock in the morning. So between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, you take your orange and you eat it hot for 360 days, for 360 oranges, and you'll clean out the varicose veins.
If you're 30, if you're older, you have to eat it a little bit longer.
That's right. But I'm just using it good. That is what we call our Saturn return patterns, you know. 30 years to clean up. Okay. One more thing left, and then we wind it up. I want you to look at your clock on your chart.
Oh, okay.
But before you look at the clock on your chart, I want you to look at your charts that they've been given there. There's a chart on combination of foods. And I know you're going to have your chance to throw it at me by telling me you don't mix protein with carbohydrates, right? You see it? Good. There, look at that. Huh? Proteins and starches. Now, they say they don't combine good, right? Hmm?
That's what it says on here.
Yeah, good. Now, give me a better reason than what you see there, why it doesn't combine after hearing what you were told this morning.